Rang in the ear a little too hard? Now you have more fragments of silicon.
All right, welcome to 2024. This is Fragments of Silicon. I'm your host, Adam. Joining me as always are my colleagues, Petty Fan and the Golics.
Woo!
Right. So, how was y'all's holiday season?
I existed.
Not very exciting, but that's also good.
I suppose it depends on the fireworks on display, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, my holidays were less than quiet. Like,
Does that have to do with stuff that was talked about last week? Well, last show,
last
rather.
week, like, it's more, like, if it was, like, basically brothers divorce, boiling over, drama, yada, yada, yada.
Fun.
Like, yeah, or no, what's the opposite of fun? Painful.
Valid.
Like, that being said, I did have him and his kids over for Christmas Eve. Um, you know, went to the local pizza place. They enjoyed it. Like, then they watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. A good time was had by all.
Mm.
So, you know, yeah, it was a pretty low key Christmas Eve thing. Um, kind of did the thing where they got to pick gifts at the store.
One of those Christmases.
I mean, it's also we don't see the kids all. At least I don't see the kids all that often. So this was a better idea than just grasping in the dark, so to speak.
That's fair.
It's like granted, they are kids, so they're not going to be that hard to shop for. Like I do know the oldest is into gaming a lot, so you know, and apparently he's really into Among Us now, which is why he picked out an Among Us plushie.
That's cute.
Well, as long as you didn't pick up a vent.
No, I think he would want to avoid that. Like,
I was just go into a hardware store and pick up one. I want a vent, Mom.
Anyway,
yeah. So, yeah, they seem to enjoy their gifts, like, and like I said, that worked out well. It's more the next day when get a phone call and there's there's drama at the other end.
yeah,
Because
those are the best phone calls. I say, rolling my eyes.
like, especially it's happening on fucking Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You know,
You all couldn't wait 24 hours for this bullshit?
no, like, I mean, that's kind of a divorce for you.
I mean, fair.
It's just, spilling it into my area is another thing. So anyway, it seems to have cooled down because I think the overriding issue du jour has been resolved for the time being. Like, so outside of that, um, uh, got saw the doctor today, or went to the doctor's office. Technically speaking, I saw the nurse practitioner, like, to do another vitals check. Good news. Um, my my blood pressure is back down to normal. Like,
Hooray!
I was gonna say,
also
good
there,
news, you're still alive.
it's like it's looking like I don't have to take the new medication. Like,
That's good.
um, yeah, the colander, or however you pronounce it, Collidine. I'm like,
Some one of
uh,
those.
yeah, I'm like,
Probably not
uh,
colander because that's the thing you use to strain vegetables.
yeah, it's like, uh, you know, like, also their electronic devices, concerningly buggy because it's always reporting my blood pressure higher than the manual stuff.
Mm.
Like, that's been
That's not
consistent.
actually a bug. That's like I've asked, and that's like a known phenomenon. Although
I'm
it's
like,
even worse in my case because the friggin' automatic blood pressure thing always stresses me out
Yeah.
because I got my arm trapped in one as a kid.
Like similar with
yeah,
me, but
yeah,
that's more because I'm a little bit more muscular on top because my legs don't work good, so I have to be a little more built on top.
Hmm.
mm, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like, for me, it's kind of been the paradox
Mm-hmm.
of having to take this, blood pressure thing, and it's, been coming up high. So, that causes stress. And that's a bit of a negative feedback loop, isn't it?
That's a
Hmm.
mood.
Like, thankfully less so this time.
Indeed.
Like, um, anyway, also think I lost about 5 pounds, which is a contrast for the holidays. Like, anyway, overall, good news there. Um, anything else to report for the holiday season?
As far as me, not over the holiday, but there are like I do have a couple doctor's appointments coming up. I believe I have some dentist work done to do next week, and then which could be my last appointment with the eye doctor because my
That
eye's been doing well, and yay.
reminds me, I got to get in touch with my dentist now that it's the new year. My
Mm.
dental insurance has changed, and maybe they'll be able to take the new one.
Ah,
They were
yes.
having a row with my previous dental insurance. Not sure
Yeah.
why they. Not sure if they mentioned why, but I don't know. Like, I had to cancel
Mm.
going there. Anyway,
Like I guess as far as
Galax, anything further?
Did you mean aside from news, or are you just asking about news?
Yeah, anything else that happened outside of the holidays, Galax?
Right. No, I'm just asking because we didn't go through the normal news thing, so I
mm,
was just double checking.
we're just running
Anyway,
fast and
Yeah,
loose today, let's be real.
yeah, not a whole lot happened. My sister came up for part of Christmas Day, which was nice. Um, we didn't have a whole lot of shopping. Like at home, we had a bit less gifts than usual because between mom having a cold for or bronchitis for a couple of
Hmm.
weeks, and then there being a power outage that lasted a couple of days, we didn't have time to go out and do shopping as much as I wanted, and our big family Christmas thing is currently scheduled for this Sunday, but we're supposed to probably get some snow then, so that may have to be rescheduled again. So I don't know. Um, Also, I bought a lot of my friends' digital games, and Steam got mad at me for buying so many different things, which was kind of weird.
Steam or your credit card?
Steam,
Huh. Weird.
You were probably displaying bot-like behavior.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds. Once you say that, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm
Because
like
there has been
Discord
a
has done
rash
that.
of Steam accounts getting hacked and people using the cards on file to buy a bunch of games for, you know, random people.
hmm
Yeah, Discord did that with me when I was reestablishing my account.
Yeah.
Because I had to refriend so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it mostly just said, you're doing a little bit too fast, cool off. So I stopped and then did it again a couple
Yeah,
hours
I got
later, I think.
Psychonauts 2 from you.
Yes.
Yep. It is a fun game. I need to finish it on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mostly just got things off people's wish lists, but I have a lot of online friends, and
Yeah.
most of them I don't have any idea what their address is. So even if I wanted to get them something physical, I would have to ask a lot more personal information. It's easier to just
Right.
do that.
Steam has a wishlist function for a reason.
hmm
Yep. Like,
Although unfortunately, if you may, it's included. Your wish list is included in your privacy settings.
Mm.
So if you have
yeah.
it set so people can't see
Well,
what games you own or whatever,
that's how
or they also
Naka hides his wish list.
Yeah.
So people don't know what he's playing
Yeah.
or
Or like
plan
what
on
he's
playing.
currently playing because
Yeah, that was a problem
it was,
at one
yes.
point, especially like when he would play a game and just. I remember it happened with Trine 2. Like,
Mm.
I just saw a whole bunch of Naka achievements on Trine 2, and I said, "You're playing Trine 2, aren't you?" And he's like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "Because there's a whole bunch of Steam achievements."
Yeah.
still you'd think that they I don't think it would be a weird ask to be able to have your wish list be viewable even if
If
your
you're
games and
mutual
achievements aren't.
friends, not just like
Yeah.
following somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently it's pretty all or nothing.
Hmm.
Uh,
I kind of like how PlayStation does it, where there is a close friends option where they can see
Mhm.
all of your stuff like that, but just like regular friends can't.
I mean, it's something to be taken up with Steam,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm like,
Right
um,
after they release Half-Life 3.
mm, yeah. Anyway, in terms of gaming, over the holidays, I played quite a bit of Fallout 2 until I got exhausted by it, which is what always happens. Like, it's
Yeah,
why I
I've never
prefer.
got into the first two Fallouts, honestly. The only Fallout I really got into was the first person ones from Bethesda.
Yeah, I'm like, I got into Fallout 3 and much more New Vegas.
Hmm.
Um, like, I put into over 100 hours into New
Yeah.
Vegas. I think New
Did they
Vegas is
ever
my favorite.
fix Fallout 3 so it doesn't need Game for Windows Live, or is it still broken as hell?
Yes, actually, they did.
Oh, about
If
time.
you're talking about the Steam version, I did
Yeah.
play that last October of 2022,
Yeah,
I
because it
believe.
did kind of piss me off that I basically had to download piracy tools for a game I paid money for.
Right. I can definitely say that Fallout 3 on Steam doesn't use Game for Windows Live.
Mm.
So that one got fixed. Uh, Pro tip: if the game is available for purchase these days, it doesn't have games for Windows Live, which is
You.
why you can't buy Lost Planet 2, for example.
Mm.
Like that never got rid of the games for Windows Live integration because it's Lost Planet 2. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, um, right now I did a complete 180 on RPGs and I'm playing through Tales of Symphonia.
Did they ever fix PC port on that, or is it still jank?
I think they did.
Because I know it was
Like,
one of those ones that you basically had to mod it for it to be decent.
yeah, I think the PC version is a Chrono Trigger situation where, yeah, I do remember they fucked it up.
Fucked it up is putting it lightly, friend. I'm pretty sure if we had Mac here, he'd be railing on it.
I don't know if he ever picked up that version.
Fair.
The thing is that they did it again.
Oh,
The
God.
Switch version of Tales of Symphonia fucked up in the exact same way.
Oh
30
my
frames per
God.
second. I don't know if that. I don't think that one ever got fixed. Like,
Which
30
is
frames per
hilarious.
second is not itself horrible, but when the game isn't designed to account for it, or when it's a drop for no reason, that's a little bit weird. Yeah.
yeah, like, like I think there might be some input lag, but that might just be a modernity thing.
Yeah.
Also, there's definitely some PlayStation 2 era, let's say. I know it's a GameCube game, but bear with me.
It was the same era,
Yeah.
approximately.
Yeah. There's some PlayStation 2 era jank, like how it's actually a 2D game when it looks like a 3D game. Like all the fighting is on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
And that just
everyone from that era just before Vesperia had that problem.
yeah.
You
Abyss
mean
had it.
verticality doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Not verticality. Like you can't move across the field.
Oh yeah, there's pretty limited up and down. It's mostly a line. Well,
yeah,
that was the original innovation of the Tales series, was to have a linear battle system where you could like do active stuff.
Yeah.
In
It wasn't
Fantasia, it's just that Symphonia isn't as much beyond that as you might expect it to be.
Yeah. I mean, that always fucked with me. Like even back in the day, because it's a full 3D engine, but you're still doing the same 2D sprite shit. In terms of gameplay. To say nothing of the camera. Like less of a problem than when you're doing co-op. I did play Tales of Symphonia back in the day. Did a great bit of co-op with my brother. Like about 20 years ago.
And this one doesn't support online co-op, does it?
I think it supports remote play.
Yeah, so it doesn't support online co-op.
Yeah, remote play is just lying to the computer that you and the remote computer are in the same place.
Yeah.
Like anyway, I suppose we should move to the games we played 2023, or rather the games we reviewed.
Right.
And as always, what we covered in a given year looks vastly different than like any other show. I am proud of that. Like, is it whatever else?
Yeah.
A great deal of what we have reviewed isn't going to be featured on other shows.
Yeah.
Not everything. Like we did get some games that were covered fairly heavily. I mean, nothing AAA that wasn't picked out by us.
Yeah.
Like Sonic Frontiers, for example. That was yours, Petty. And you did, and you all did the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet review. And I did Minecraft Dungeons for the sake of my nephew.
Right.
That kind of thing. But by and large, we cover the indie scene.
Yeah. And stuff that probably wouldn't be picked up on other places that honestly should deserve better coverage.
It depends. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
we mostly cover indie games, and it's at least 50% by choice.
Yeah. It depends.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like the shittiest game I played last year, or at least one of them, started off the year in Tinker Racers.
Wasn't that the broken one?
That was the top-down racer.
Yeah, that was the one that was fundamentally broken from the word go.
yeah, though broken in like an honest mechanical sense, not a this game was very slapdashly put together,
Yeah.
which we've also experienced. Like
Oh
no,
God,
no,
we
no.
have.
Yeah, no, no, no. This was more. Yeah, this is no. This game is slippery as fuck,
Yeah.
and I can't control it. Like, and it's like, and this is a racing format that dates back to like the NES era. I'm like, I played like Micro Machines games that played better than this, a
Mm-hmm.
lot better. You know, and we also get some pretty simple games. Like the very first game I reviewed last year, Gyrobot DX. You know, if I'm recalling correctly, that was a super hexagon alike, which is a weird thing to say because not a lot of games follow in the path of super hexagon. This one did, did it in its own way, but it's like I recognize the gameplay loop.
Right.
You know, like like I said, I could pick any random week with something that was unique and strange, like Plong. I'm like, probably the weirdest paddle game I've ever played. I
Yeah.
I I've played like Wizorb.
Wizorb is fun though. I did
Yeah,
enjoy me
Wizorb
some
was
Wizorb.
well. It's not so much that this wasn't fun. It did that Kirby block ball thing that I didn't
Fair.
like.
I
Like it's
remember not liking Plong, but that's just a me thing.
yeah, I didn't like Plong either, but it wasn't a bad game per se.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't like randomization being introduced and a time limit being introduced to a game that's as chaos theory bound as a paddle game.
Yeah. And
You know,
especially 'cause it's
it,
not like set angles like a lot of them are. It's very physics
uh-huh.
type stuff.
Yeah, this is also the rise of the Vampire Survivor alike, because
Yep.
we had games like Timeline Walker, Dark World, and Swarm Invasion, um, quite a few of those. And if I'm I'm expecting that we're going to get more of those in the upcoming year, just
Yeah.
because once again, Vampire Survivor, very popular thing. Like,
At least we've had less objectively broken games this year. Like we've had some that have
this year.
not worked well, but not like crashing every time we do stuff. Levels of
Yeah,
broken.
yeah, that was nice. Um, you know, um, yeah, it's like I can't really think of too many downright broken games.
Like yeah, we've had games that didn't have windowed mode, but even you said that even a lot of them played well. They just couldn't be streamed because of my setup. If I were to
Yeah,
play them normally, they'd be perfectly fine games.
we weren't completely free from the broken monkey fest of
Oh yeah, we never will be unless we actually go into true AAA games. But
okay, that's a lie.
okay, I'm trying to make myself feel better. I am aware of the shit that's been going on with certain games.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
like,
any Bethesda game on launch is going to be hilariously buggy.
right, but games just flat out launch unfinished.
hmm
Ask of all things City Skyline 2 about it. Like the publisher flat out said, no, this game is unfinished, but we're releasing it, like actually releasing it, not even early access. And then they wonder why the sales of this game are flagging.
Uh,
Like, you're selling a broken game. And your fan base knows it. Like,
I think that's the most damning part of that sentence. Your fan base knows it.
yeah. Anyway, in terms of broken games that we played, I distinctly remember Arcadia Colony. Um,
I think that was one that was just broken for you. I remember playing it and it was okay.
Possibly, like,
Because
but
I know there are some games that just didn't work well for you, and that's just because you're on a laptop. So there are some caveats to function with that.
yeah.
I don't feel like I had that many that outright didn't work, but there were a lot that were like, I guess you can call that a game if you really want to stretch.
Like, yeah. I mean, because it was still a year where we got a lot of Ocean Media
Hmm.
projects, mostly hidden object games. Not
Yeah.
all the time, but most
And
of
like
the time.
even those weren't broken, just meh.
Like, though, on the
Well,
Switch, they
I'm
never.
also some of the things like some of the like ZX Spectrum slash
Mm-hmm.
whatever the other one is, dual release games are
Amstrad
just
CPC.
are just Amstrad are just extremely janky because they were programmed before smooth controls. I mean, not literally before smooth controls had been invented, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, like, yeah. Though that being said, I think some of the best games I played uh, this
Or
past
that
year.
freaking crazy mosquito game where you just like flying around and trying to ruin the guy's day. Like there were barely any mechanics in it, but it like didn't crash. It worked.
Mm. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, some of the best games I played this past year were um, retro games. Um, I'd say
But not for the ZX Spectrum slash Amstrad.
This.
yeah, not those, and not really anything from Pico either. Really, I'd say that the top three here are The Making of Karateka from Digital Eclipse.
As you can tell by our almost hour-long review.
Yep. Um, Quake 2, like and Turok 3. And
Hmm.
all of those clock in at about an hour. You know, I had a lot of things to say about each one of them.
Hmm.
You know, because I had a personal theory with like the franchises. Because as I mentioned, did not play Turok 3 back in the day. I was too busy with Perfect Dark. Didn't play Quake 2 back in the day. Like that one I kind of missed. Like happens. And
Right.
I talked about Karateka. I did not own it, but it's like my elementary school had it for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, what about you guys? What were some of the best games you all played last year?
Uh, I'm looking through the list right now. Tori was fun.
Hmm.
Short but fun. Um, Obviously I enjoyed Sonic Frontiers,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently they did update the DLC so it's now less of a pain in the ass. So that's good.
It is.
Um, what else? I did like Quake because I like FPS, so
Yes.
something chocolate and peanut butter. Land of Glass I thought was conceptually interesting, but I wish it had more gameplay meat on its bones.
Mm.
Um, Anything you can think of, Golos? I'm over here looking through the list.
I'm looking through my list, and there are a lot of Ocean Media games. That's I am rejecting out of hand. Honestly, the actual visual novels we had to do this year, which were mostly earlier on, were actually not that bad.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, the actual visual novels usually come from Manga Gamer.
Yeah.
right.
You know,
Well, I don't know. It was Animal Lover and Nowhere Girl. I don't remember if Animal Lover was Manga Gamer. A
no,
Highland Song was very good, even though I have not had enough time to go back and play it as much as I wanted to.
yeah. I mean, a Highland Song is Inkle, so you're guaranteed quality there.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm,
in fact, we have an interview scheduled with Inkle in a few weeks. Though, Galax, I'm not sure if he'll be able to attend because that's going to be at noon because it had to work around his picking up his kid time.
We'll see. Maybe that'll be a day I can take time off, but otherwise, no. Noon is when I have to be at least on my way to work.
I
mm.
know, I know. I'm just letting you know.
Uh huh.
Um,
I remember I personally was a big fan of Dark Quest 3, but I imagine like you or Golix might have been more into it because it was basically a self-contained D&D thing.
yeah, you were the only one who played that because it was a PlayStation 4
Yeah.
game. Like, you know, that's something that was shockingly we still got codes for in the year of 2023.
Yeah.
Not many.
And now I have a PS5, so I get to relive a whole new type of horror.
Like,
Mm.
yes. Like, like,
Yeah, I've still never actually, had a Sony game machine.
yeah. I'm like I said, I think the last game I played for the year was one of the most interesting in Knuckle Sandwich.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
honestly, that is a game that is probably a criminally underrated hidden gem. I mean, a hidden gem.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's talking about this game. You know,
I enjoyed the demo. Like, I may
like
go see about picking that up. Like, probably I can't do it this Steam sale, but like if it shows up in
right.
the summer sale, I may look into it. Type deal.
Speaking of the Steam sale, if you want to pick up anything, you better hurry because it
Yeah.
ends tomorrow at like 1 p.m. Eastern.
And
Like,
for those of you playing at home, there are several games that we've reviewed that are currently on sale. Wink, wink.
yep. Another good one was Crimson Tactics: The Rise of the White Banner. Like, it's just I wasn't going to get very far in a whole ass tactical RPG.
Oh God, no, yeah.
Hmm.
Like, on the flip side, fuck Super Lumberjack just because of that trolling price.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Keller Effect was okay. I wish I had more time for it.
yeah, I mean that's the case with quite a few games that we review.
Yeah.
It's like because we are on a weekly schedule and we got other things going on.
Yeah, we have a
Like,
things called lives.
yep. I'm
I know,
for
sounds fake to
example,
me.
It is. Just
when it
roll with it,
comes to
Alex.
well, I mean, when it comes to planning the show, I have two shows to plan. Let's be honest here
Yeah.
per week. Like, so reviewing games is just part of that.
Right.
Like, anyway, games that I'm shocked that we managed to cover. Ebenezer and the Invisible World.
Yeah.
Um, just because of how
Hmm.
high profile that was.
That was another relatively enjoyable one.
Mm-hmm. Like, I had a few problems with it, but it's still one of the more enjoyable indie Metroidvanias that I've played recently.
Hmm.
Like, um, let's see. Like I said, uh, you know, other good games that we covered. Sokobond, which was which was a unique take on Sokobond. Um, and an actual legitimately clever wordplay
Hmm.
because bonding in terms of like chemicals. Like, um, let me see here. Uh, Painting Werther was probably the most unique game I played this year, and that covers some ground because, a visual novel based off of, like, really an art piece, like a moving tone poem based off of Gothy, however you pronounce that name.
Goethe?
Yeah, like, is certainly unique, if nothing else. Like, like I said, Donut Dodo, probably the best not retro game I played last year.
Right.
It's like, one of the games that does all the stylings of a retro game, but isn't actually, from the 1980s. Another unfortunate shitty one was The Legend of Gwen. Just absolutely awful. Like, I actually had a friend of mine who coincidentally was reviewing the game absolutely trash it, to the point where she would no longer take blind requests.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
understandable, but ooh.
yeah.
I guess
it was
another one of
bad.
my favorites would probably be Gunhead.
Another really unique game that I covered, The King's Dilemma Chronicles, which was like kind of a visual novel wrapped up with a strategy role-playing game.
Oh, actually, Netscape was actually pretty fun and pretty kind of impressive in terms of how well they got, like, escape room mechanics to work on. Literally, it would work on NES hardware.
Well,
right, that one, yes.
Yeah, that was the Fragments interview that ended up on MSP. If you need a refresher, like, like I said, other retro stuff that I rather enjoyed: N2O, Nitrous Oxide, but that's mainly because I like Tempest and the Crystal Method. Less so for Zero Tolerance. I mean, I suppose, like, I'm kind of surprised Zero Tolerance doesn't come up more, in terms of talking about retro FPSs, but I can also see why it doesn't, because it's a wholly original FPS game made for the Genesis. And all that.
And we're not in Brazil? No, wait, that's the Master System.
Yeah. But,
and this is base Genesis, not like,
32X, no.
32X or CD, just base Genesis.
Yeah, well, you provided the footage for Zero Tolerance.
Yeah, it's for the people at home.
Yeah. In fairness, like, we do have full reviews of all of these games, and they'll usually have footage for them.
Yes.
Not all the time, because sometimes a game costs $20 or doesn't have windowed mode, or something didn't work on Petty's end.
Yeah.
Like, or you just didn't have the game, and it was given to Galax. Sometimes that happens as well. I think most amusing reviews last year were the dual set from Wisdom Tree. Spiritual Warfare and Super 3D Noah's Ark. Like,
those were an adventure.
Yeah, well, Super 3D Noah's Ark is not. That's one of the old ones, isn't it?
That's the that's the Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah,
game
it's like literally Wolfenstein 3D, but like redesigned for Christianity.
Yeah. That's a way of putting for it. Like I said, better than it had any right to be. Still wasn't very good, but better than it had any right to be. Not so much for spiritual warfare, which were, once again, not broken, but so much as tedious.
Yeah.
It's like going to church. Her. No. Most pointless game easily goes to Plantera 2. I legitimately
First off, you made a sequel to a idle game, and secondly, you made it worse somehow.
Yeah, like I legitimately do not know why that game exists. Like, I did try to reach out to the developer, never heard back. Yeah. So it happens. Like, horniest game that we could cover goes to Ultra C or Ultra C.
God, why do you have to make that a category?
Because we have
regular
Manga
contact
Gamer.
with Manga Gamer.
I was about to say, fair, but fuck, man.
Look, bring it up with John.
I'm aware.
I'm like, it's like it ain't I. Like, and you think it's fun for me? Every time we have him on the show, I have to do clearance. Maybe
Wow,
not so much.
the summary on Steam for that game is funny.
Like, like I said, it's rare where we can match the Manga Gamer and Horny to where we can actually air something on our program. Like, we're not necessarily for kids, but like, I'm honestly not sure where the nudity rules are right now.
Fair.
Because Twitch did a very stupid thing.
Stupid might be the understatement of the year, and bro, it's only January 3rd.
No, that was November or whatever it was.
I know, but you get my point.
Yeah. Papa's Quiz was a surprisingly interesting quiz game.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of its stylings, but the way you control it, like a smartphone. Didn't even need an app for it, or did we? No. Like, think in terms of impressions, like early access stuff. What was the most promising? I think Swarm Grinder. That just
maybe
that definitely needed time in the oven. Or Paw Destiny.
Yeah.
That needs some polish, but I liked what I saw there. What
I know
else?
in the new year I probably need to make a list of what all early access games come to fruition in that year.
Well, if you remember to actually do the list.
Fair.
I mean, I wasn't letting that pass.
I'm aware.
Vampire Hunters was another really interesting one. Overall, I think this is the best one I played. I'm like, so much so, if I'm recalling, I think we're having we're having the developers of this on the program in February. Booked that right before the holidays. I just randomly replied to my email. Sometimes that happens.
Yep.
Flip side, Barony. I mean, it was a good game, but way too hard.
Yeah.
I know that was by design, but like, it was one of those. This is discouragingly hard for me. Let's see. Some good rhythm games were Muse Dash, Beat Buddy, and Spin Rhythm XD.
I keep forgetting we had more than one rhythm game this year.
Like I said, I mean, this is what happens when you review a lot of games week in, week out.
Yep.
Some of them just kind of pass through the brain. Like, unless you actually. Yeah, maybe the most. Oh, that's right. Another game that we surprisingly got to review was Hyper Dimension Neptunia, Sister versus Sisters.
Ah, yes.
This is before Idea Factory moved to Keymailer.
Yeah.
I hate Keymailer.
We are aware.
Like, anyway, and we could go on, but I think that's a good summary of the year.
Right.
That was. Like, so, Penny, if you can, play us to the next segment, please.
All right, give me 1 second.
All right, welcome to the topic of discussion for the week. This week, I'm starting out by talking out. We're starting out by talking about Alex Kidd. Like, why? Because I played.
You mean not Son Goku, not the Dragon Ball one?
I'm like, you mean Sun Wukong?
I mean, Son Goku is still the Japanese name.
True, but I'm like, yeah. So Alex Kidd, where to start with this monkey boy? I'm like, I'm trying to remember if we ever actually talked about him before, but I'm like,
we might have. He was one of Sega's earlier attempts at a Sega brand platforming mascot. Yes,
not one of. He was Sega's mascot, pre-Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, he was the face, the horrible, horrible face of the Master System. Like, and the star of more games than you'd expect. Because try to guess how many games he starred in.
40.
3.
Not that many. Like, he wasn't that successful. You know, it's more, we're attempting to make him a successful mascot numbers. 6. 7 if you count the remake that's on display here. You know, like I said, that's, you know, either a measure of success or, you know, we're trying to make this monkey a thing.
And his heyday was through the 80s, right?
Very much so.
Because once 91 rolled around, we got a certain blue blur.
Uh-huh. And he really was the Master System's boy. Because 5 of his games, with some asterisks there, appeared on the Master System. Like, we have the headliner here, the game that, if you're from Europe, you probably know Alex Kidd for. That is Miracle World. This was the first one. This is the game that really established Alex Kidd in terms of platforming. The horrible, horrible platforming.
Yeah, this platforming sucks, bro.
Oh, yeah. That's why I wanted to talk about this. Because where do we put
They
this in
forgot
terms?
trick one. To have a successful platform mascot, he has to have games that people actually like.
Well, here's the
Ayo.
thing. People actually do like at least Miracle World. Once again, we're talking either Europe or Brazil. That's where Alex Kidd hit big. I'm like, and a lot of that is because of Alex Kidd's unique stature in PAL regions. Because he became greater than the. I'm not exactly sure what you would call greater than the pack-in game. Because Alex Kidd in Miracle World was built into the Master System 2 units in PAL regions.
Mm.
So even if you did not buy a cart, you had a game. The original game was Snail Maze. And then for the budget revision, they put this thing in. And that's why Alex Kidd in Miracle World is so beloved in Europe. I like to think of it as a twisted version of Stockholm Syndrome.
I mean, fair.
You're playing the game right now. Tell me it's good.
I will not.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an ultra faithful remake in that this game is awful. Like, Alex Kidd is in Miracle World is fucking awful. And it's fucking actual sequel, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, is even fucking worse. Because, that's the Genesis one, by the way. That's the one that I think Americans are going to be the most familiar with, if only because Alex Kidd got tossed into 1,000 different Genesis collections. It's the Genesis game, so it shows up where Genesis games shows up. The Master System games are a lot rarer because Master System games in general don't see a lot of re-release.
Uh-huh.
And the best Alex Kidd game, the one that's actually good, Alex Kidd in Shinobi World, I don't think has ever been re-released. Or, if it has, it's been in like some obscure Japan-only pack.
And what was that on?
The Master System.
Oh.
The funny thing is that came out after Enchanted Castle. And yeah, it's not really an Alex Kidd game.
It's a Shinobi game.
Yeah, it's a parody of Shinobi. The thing is, even a parody of Shinobi is going to have Shinobi controls. And here's the thing. Shinobi controls good. Not like a floaty piece of ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, it's why I wish... here we go. Yeah, the last time Shinobi World got re-released was on the Wii Virtual Console, which was quite a while ago at this stage. Like,
kind of a shame that they stopped having virtual consoles after the Wii.
Well,
or stopped having as much.
It's also like yeah.
The Wii one had a lot of diversity in terms of what systems it had stuff from. Is mostly what I mean.
I know.
Oh my god! Fuck this game.
Yeah. I always think I'd never wonder why Alex Kidd didn't take in saner regions in the world, because the floaty movement, the floaty jumping, the awful hit detection, like the awful collision, the shit range of your punch, and you want to know why Enchanted Castle is even worse? because it really went ham, as they say, on the Janken Pawn system introduced in this game. Yeah,
Because you gotta love that rock paper scissors. It's compulsory.
Yeah, you got to use that to beat bosses and even buy things in Enchanted Castle. It's the fucking drizzling shits. Like,
sure is fun in video games where you're using it as something where you're supposed to actually succeed rather than as a method of pretty much random choice between friends to decide things.
Yeah. The system was bloody awful, and I hope people got fired over it. And I haven't even addressed the other Alex Kidd games. Because we have Alex Kidd The Lost Stars, aka Sega's attempt to make Alex Kidd an arcade star, and fucking blowing it. For the record, I actually played all of these on GameTap back in the day. Or at least most of them. Like, I think I played Alex Kidd in Miracle World on, once again, a Genesis collection of some sort. Anyway, but this is probably the second best Alex Kidd game. It's still not very... it's... How do I put this? It's more good, but less memorable. Like, it's got a very flat game design, literally. Very left to right, very dull. Which is, once again, a mechanical improvement over this pile of shit, but it's less memorable. Because I can distinctly remember why this game makes me angry. Like I said,
also, this looks extremely one-hit pointy, which is not my favorite style of platformer.
Not extremely.
Yes.
It is one hit point.
Yes, unless you get like a special vehicle or item that absorbs the one hit.
By extremely, I mean like compared to, say, Mario is generally a one-hit point game, but you can almost always be on 2 hit points pretty easily, unless you're terrible.
Right. The thing is, Mario has, once again, it has good, precise controls.
Right. But even then, I was just saying this game looks like it's much rarer for you to have an insulation hit point.
Yeah.
In addition to having shitty controls.
Yeah, like... right. Anyway, down the list, we have the swollen asterisk in Alex Kidd High Tech World. Because this is not an actual Alex Kidd game. What they did here was they did the dolled up installment. Because this is actually a licensed title. An anime licensed title. Princess Amitsu. Or Amitsu Hime.
Huh.
Yeah, which is a manga series. And it's a point-and-click adventure game. Am I making sure I... Yeah, no. This is, this is a weird one. Because, it's a point-and-click adventure game, but it's also got some platforming and, it says puzzle solving, but that's what you do in a point-and-click.
Mm-hmm.
And... apparently this wreaked havoc with the Alex Kidd verse. Nobody cared. I'm like, it's Alex fucking Kidd, and Sega did not know what to do with Alex Kidd. Like, as evidenced by not just this, but the Japan-only Alex Kidd BMX trial.
which
Yeah. So
was any bike game.
yeah, yeah. It's like, let's take our Monkey Boy, uh, and yeah, here's the Jankin Pond system. Dread it, fear
I
it.
want to say you should probably use paper on this guy since his head is a gigantic rock, but who knows?
Well, he just literally just used scissors there, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's no
Maybe his choice is just
strategy
actually
here.
random.
There's no strategy here. It's actually as random as you can get with a computer. Like, it's not good game design. This will never be good game design.
Even if it was designed to munch quarters, it's a little bit egregious.
This wasn't. This is the home
I know.
game. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Alex Kidd BMX trial. It's like, let's take Alex Kidd, put him in a bike game, but it's not Excite bike style. It's isometric. 3/4 view, and it's also not very good. And that's kind of the run of Alex Kidd games. And you might be noticing not much of a pattern here, actually, because out of the 6 games, only 2 of them are what would resemble what the classical idea, the action platformer Alex Kidd are. Like I said, Lost Stars, that's an arcade platformer, plays very differently. We got a BMX game. We got a dolled up adventure game that's not even an Alex Kidd game in its origin point. And we got a parody of Shinobi. So, not a lot of consistency, which I think is another reason why Alex Kidd didn't take.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you really had to pick a direction with the Monkey Boy before you really went in on, different directions. Granted, I know other game franchises did that in the 80s. See our discussion last time on Zelda 2.
Also, do we want to talk about Pac-Man?
We've done that.
Yeah. Pac-Man was nuts in the 80s.
I definitely remember the Pac-Man-a-thon. Yeah. Anyway, I still postulate that the reason why Alex Kidd didn't take off, other than the fact that the Master System, didn't have very good distribution in America, which it did. There were other problems, is because this game just isn't very good.
Yeah, usually characters catch on better if they have a game that is enjoyable to play.
Like Sonic.
Yeah. It's also...
I mean, I'm not going to say Bubsy would have been, tolerable if his games didn't suck. Because he still had an ass attitude, but...
The thing is, Bubsy is now a bad example because he survived by irony.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Surviving out of spite is definitely surviving.
Yeah. I'm yeah. Bubsy persists because people bought his shit to laugh at it.
Honestly, it's YouTubers are the reason why Bubsy still exists.
Yeah, and, he got new games. And apparently Atari is thinking of it wants independent developers to make new Bubsy games.
Yeah.
And
I think
Bubsy
one of the recent games actually wasn't god-awful. It's still a bad game, but it's not, atrocious as 3D.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to the Europe connection, to talk briefly about the remake here. Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX was commissioned by Merge Games, who we actually had on the program some years ago. Before, let's just say, things dissolved a bit, mainly over scheduling. That happens more often than I like, but it happens.
Such is life.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember, they picked Alex Kidd in Miracle World for remake because, like, the people who run it have very fond memories of Miracle World. And it goes back to that fucking connection. Because this game was literally embedded in Master Systems, so many Europeans played this game and unironically enjoy it. I don't know how.
I mean, those Europeans did have perhaps some variation of Stockholm syndrome from playing other European-designed platforming games.
Possibly, but Alex.
Sorry, I know they're not all like bad, but a lot of those computer platformers are rough.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that'll about do it for Alex Kidd here. And that will do it for our first Fragments of Silicon of the year. So coming up on the week ahead, we do have a new installment of MSP planned for later on. I'm like, I think Mac is going to be able to join us. Like, I think that's where things were last I checked. He's having life troubles again. More on that on MSP.
Mm-hmm.
But MSP will be happening.
Come hell or high water, because we have a guest.
And they are, ready to go and all that. So
Didn't they
anyway,
pop in the Discord a little bit ago?
Possibly. I haven't looked. I got to run through this.
Fair.
Anyway, no Friday show. And coming up on the Sunday reviews, we'll be having reviews of MacBat 64, Sonic Superstars, Legendary Heroes, and Doomsday Paradise. So until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.